After a landslide victory in 1984, and he has a pretty rocky second term. He gets some big things done. He gets tax reform, he gets immigration reform. But then comes the Iran-Contra scandal, where, the ultimate assessment was Reagan wasn't paying attention to a rogue national security operation in his own White House. But I want to ask you about something else because it's been talked about quite a bit lately with Biden's age, Trump's age. Ronald Reagan was considered incredibly old for a president, even though he wasn't even 70 years old when he was first inaugurated. But he was diagnosed after he left office with Alzheimer's. And there are some people, a lot of people, who've looked at the sort of slips in his second term and thought, well, maybe there was evidence that he was somehow suffering from the disease then. You've done a lot of research into that question, including interviewing Reagan's own neurologist. So where do you come down on that?
Well, it's a complicated issue because, Reagan, by the end of his second term, was almost 78 years old. So, and he had been shot, a few years earlier. So he was clearly slowing down with age. He was not nearly as vigorous at the end of his second term as he had been at the beginning of his first term. And in fact, a lot of the White House decisions were really being made, or a lot of the administration decisions were being made by Colin Powell, Frank Carlucci, and George Shultz, who were just meeting among themselves and presenting the president with fait accomplis. So Reagan was clearly not as vigorous, but that doesn't mean that he had Alzheimer's. And I didn't really find evidence that he was suffering from dementia. I mean, the point that one of his doctors, as you alluded to, made to me from the Mayo Clinic was that he certainly had the plaques and whorls in his brain of Alzheimer's while he was president, but that doesn't mean that he had dementia. It just means that the disease was present. But if you look at indicators like his diary, his handwriting remained pretty clear and firm from beginning to end. I didn't really, I asked a lot of people about this. I didn't really find evidence of dementia, but I certainly did find evidence of the aging process, as you would expect.